Hi, friends, and welcome back to another episode of This is for the Soul, and I'm your lovely host, Brianna Sade. Here on this podcast, we talk about all things mental health, personal growth, self-care, spirituality, you name it, I'ma talk about it. This is also the space where we learn to heal and grow through those honest conversations. So for today's episode, there's actually a few things that I want to talk about. And as we've all experienced 2024, it was a very weird and interesting year for most of us. Last year, there were some events that had a lot of us scratching our heads and questioning things, but 2025 might have it be, because this year has started off with a bang. Since the time the ball dropped up until now, like every single day there has been something major that has happened. There's a new headline, there's a deadly attack, a mass shooting, people are sick right now, Donald Trump and his shenanigans, and let's not forget Mother Nature being unhappy with us. Climate change is real, yes, but the fact that we're getting slammed with all four elements from all different directions in the middle of winter is insane. California has been hell on earth, literally, for the past 4 days. And the southeast is being freeze blasted. Georgia is getting snow right now, and it barely ever snows in Georgia. And Atlanta is showing their ass, and I'm not mad at it. I've been on TikTok week all day. They not knowing how to act right now. And it's like, we're not even 2 weeks into the new year, and all this is happening. And it's like, if this is how this year has started, I'm super curious to know how the rest of the year will go. And then you have everybody saying something doesn't feel right, it's giving 2020 vibes, the feeling is very familiar, yada yada yada. And it's kind of like, ever since last year, it feels like people have been manifesting 2020 to repeat itself. That just made people feel this energy of like something's about to go down. And that's kind of the similar feeling that's happening with everyone collectively right now. And it is bringing a sense of anxiety, because it's like there's this impending feeling that we're all waiting for this massive thing to occur, but nobody exactly knows what it is or when it's going to happen. And not trying to fearmonger or anything, but if something does happen, it's going to be way worse than 2020. I'm just being real. Like, I hope that people know that it's not going to give 2020 at all. And there are people who really are rooting for another lockdown and waiting for their extended vacays. But it's like, babe, that's just not going to happen. I at least don't feel that happening. And if we were to have another shutdown, my mental health would not be able to take another 2 to 3 years locked up in a house. And like, I'm already socially awkward as it is. And 2020 was just, for me, was mentally traumatizing. But we all experienced that year very differently. I was a freshman in college. Well, I got the first half of my experience ripped away from me because of the pandemic. So I was pretty bummed out about that. I don't know, and then for other people, it was like a fever dream. Like, they were just living their best lives. and hey, I'm not mad at it. But it's like everybody's experience is different. And honestly, I just want to leave 2020 where it's at in the past, because to relive that trauma, please. But anyway, I want to talk about California really quickly, because those fires in LA are suspicious as shit. And I would not be surprised that this was not natural, but an act of malicious intent, allegedly, because they already caught one person who sparked a fire. I believe it was the Kenneth fire. A community of people had caught a person trying to light things up. And my heart is heavy, and it hurts for every single person that has been affected by this. But what I don't understand is how insensitive and how inhumane people can be, especially when this is a catastrophic event that is being televised and seen all over the world. Like, the media is super duper mean, and you can just tell how some people just lack empathy, because it's like, yes, LA may have its skeletons. It might not be the best place. The people might not be the nicest. And this is where the rich thrive. However, regardless of who these people are, what their statuses are, how much money they have, these are still people who lost everything. And it's not even just the rich and famous. There's regular people too, just like me and you, who have nothing. And everybody's like, oh, well, they can just all rebuild anyways. But nobody's really understanding the severity of this situation. Like put yourself in their shoes in this moment, minus everything, material, possession, whatever. Like, I would not want to wish that on nobody. To having a standing home, a roof over your head one day, to the next day you turn around and your whole entire home and everything that you've lived and worked for is gone. Like, that's insane. That is insane. That's property investments, years of hard work, memories, childhoods, whole communities wiped off the map and everything just down the drain. That shit sucks. And another thing, to make things all worse, a few days before the fires had even started, insurance companies started pulling the plug on fire insurance. Doesn't that sound suspicious? Why would they do that? Did these companies know that something was going to happen before it happened? And to be honest, they've been pulling insurance. Like, a lot of these companies have been pulling out of these states that are prone to natural disasters for the past, I want to say, like, year, honestly. And it's something that's not talked about, but it's like, why? Like, y'all do this and then something like this happens and people are asked out. And no, not everybody has the funds to rebuild on their own. So it's like a lot of people are really starting from scratch, ground zero, literally. And on top of that, you have the crime rates rising with the looters and the robberies, because everybody's so focused on trying to contain and put these fires out and save communities that there are other places and surrounding areas that still need law and order. And because, the focus is way bigger, nobody's really paying attention to these petty crimes and thieves and all that stuff. So that's happening when you got to protect yourself, right? And while all that's going on, you also have ICE moving from city to city, performing raids, trying to scoop up all the Latinos while they can. And all of this is happening while everybody's focus is on these fires. And this makes people question, like, what's going on? What's going on? Is there something that we're missing? Is there something that we're not seeing? Like, what's the bigger picture? And that's another thing too, like, why people are speculating. But pray for Cali, guys. And then we have our phones and the media where we can just sit back and watch all of this unfold. And it's like, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, because how much exposure is too much exposure? For us as the viewers and consumers, it can be a lot on our mental health and anxiety, because we're all watching this happen and watching these people suffer and seeing all these different types of point of views. And it's like, we really can't do anything from behind a screen. Like, the most that we can do is donate, speculate, and pray. Truthfully, like, that's it. And they keep talking about this TikTok ban, and don't quote me if I'm wrong, but I believe they did officially pass the ban yesterday, which was Friday the 10th. And it's unfortunate because of how much of an impact that TikTok has had over American culture and the society. And if it wasn't for the app, how would we be able to see what's going on in the world in real time? And TikTok be exposing the truth, y'all. That's why they mad, allegedly. But I want to talk about this TikTok ban for a second, because I would argue that the ban is unnecessary. And I love TikTok. It's not just another social media app. It has helped me tremendously with brainstorming ideas for my podcast and just giving me inspiration. And I basically use it like Google. And not only has it benefited me, but it's benefited millions of Americans across the country and the economy as well. And it's something that the government wants to take away, which is not making any sense at all. Like, the one thing that brings people in this country joy financial stability and even news y'all are super worried about. Like, people have literally based their livelihoods off of the amount of money they can make on TikTok. And if they think taking this app away isn't going to affect the economy, then they have another thing coming. Like, that's what I don't get about America and how ass backwards our government is sometimes. Like, they're so worried about trying to suppress the people instead of defending us and helping us help them make this country a better place. Like, why work against us when we can all work together? Ain't we supposed to be one nation under God? Clock it. Because right now we are not moving as one. We are very divided. And by them doing this, it's just going to divide us even more as a country, even more as a society. So I don't know, y'all, but just a lot of shit going on in the world, and it's hard to stay sane, and I get that, and it's hard to keep up. I get that as well. But honestly, all we can do is just pray and be there for each other and just not feed into the bullshit. I'm sending my love not only to the people of California, but also to everyone else that has been affected by this chaotic entrance of the new year. And I'm just wishing you all peace. And even though it is chaotic right now, just know that things will get better, because they always do. And you will rebuild and you will remain strong and get through this. Just protect yourself, protect your energy, and stay safe. I love you guys, and I will chit chat with you next episode. Bye.